bond hearing for my son for the release for the third time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor. He wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice.
There was a lot of excitement in the courtroom as the judge went over the requirements for Durk's potential bail release. Prosecutors abruptly produced mountains of fresh evidence they wanted to include in the case, which led to rumors that things might actually be looking good for Durk. By slowing down the process, Durk's attorney will have more time to secure a bond, agreement, or perhaps a house arrest arrangement before the trial. However, you have to take a look at these fresh accusations the feds are making, and they're getting serious, in order to determine when he could actually go. It was revealed that federal authorities believe Durk may have been involved in the Quando Rondo incident in 2021, and that's where the tension arises. According to the papers, there are witness accounts and surveillance footage related to what they claim happened with Quando in Georgia. Even Durk's lyrics are being studied by the feds. He raps, "They're on my page like Sly for Vaughn." In that phrase, "I am aware that they harass me." He even stated, "For some reason, I just don't see those comments anymore," on his podcast, which detectives are currently attempting to correlate with the dates of the song's release and the times that Quando was allegedly targeted. They're advancing with that amount of detail, which is strengthening the argument. However, it doesn't end there. Additionally, the feds are attempting to include D in the hopes that he'll talk down to Durk. According to reports, they are exerting a lot of pressure, but D is making every effort to entirely disassociate himself from the matter, avoiding both the courtroom and the paperwork. The messiness of this whole situation just keeps growing every day.
Diddy did. He's basically saying all this evidence y'all got against Durk got nothing to do with me. Why you got me charged with Durk? And that doesn't mean he's going against Durk. That just means he wants his case severed. And I'm telling you, if it's severed, it helps Durk. Because one of the main connective tissue to this conspiracy is saying that Durk told Diddy to hire. Diddy's saying, I ain't get told to hire nobody. And I ain't hire nobody. What are you talking about? Why would I hire someone? That's his thing.
But however, new evidence has emerged from a group chat on iMessage, and this is where things quickly become tense. The messages are being utilized to support government allegations that Durk issued directives to a specific Olaf advocating for the death of King Von. As stated by, according to the prosecution's allegations, a witness is even anticipated to testify, claiming that Durk was the one who gave the instructions and that his name appears on all of that evidence. According to the documentation, Durk had major problems with a man named Monique because he thought the Olaf squad was doing nothing in response to Von's predicament, which led to true friction within the circle. The topic became much more heated when Whack 100 went online and responded, discussing the snitches working against Durk and attempting to reveal who was flipping and who was remaining steadfast. Durk's team showed strength during the most recent court session by formally submitting the paperwork for his release once more, hoping the judge will pay attention this time. Suddenly, rumors began to circulate, with Durk's father speaking out and speculating that his son may eventually be freed on bail. Durk has made 3 attempts at it, and rumor has it that his solicitors arrived in with a proposal so compelling that the judge would find it impossible to reject it. However, prosecutors made an unexpected move at the same moment. As they stood in the courtroom, they really dropped some of their evidence against Lil Durk. Reporters stated that the prosecutors recited the evidence aloud in front of everyone, including the lyrics, before informing the judge that they were prepared to discard some elements. I was informed by Durk that they received an addy. They knew where it was. The entire courtroom was secured. While they were doing it, check out the news. Observe your sons yelling. No. Before the judge could even render a ruling, commotion broke out in the courtroom, and that cue had a different impact. A significant incident occurred behind the cower, scenes that sparked conversation. When word spread that V&I had been persuaded to cooperate by federal investigators, his records abruptly changed to reflect that he was no longer under federal custody, which often indicates that he was placed under house arrest. The streets were buzzing just from that.
Life, by basically saying he's guilty of for hire, and the only thing that, like, yes, some of these things look suspect. Why'd you go there? Why are these people going there? Why'd you send this message? But nothing. There's no message that they got that says where Durk says y'all that Quando yet. Nothing says that.
No, you missing the point. Okay. They got a witness already cooperating on that. Been had one. We just ain't seen what they said. It's 3 years. One of the is cooperating.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
that's
I don't know what the I don't know what, you don't need too much more than that. One of the is cooperating. Then in the paperwork, you got the conversation. They say they had it in and out. The other 2 was figuring out how they get.
But what to? However, the fact that VNI revealed himself without being coerced made it even more bizarre. In an attempt to break down the figures, he texted a close buddy to explain the specifics of his plea agreement. However, the entire conversation was released by that same friend. I'm trying to plea out to a 32, which is the base for my charge, V and I wrote in the message. The maximum is 43, or life. I would receive a deduction of 2.4 for a plea, 1.4 for an early plea, and 2 for no background. I will therefore have 27 points, or 5 to 7 years. I can't go to trial. He then acknowledged, I don't want them to treat me the same way they do other guys. He was referring to someone when he stated that he didn't want to be got. Someone else in the case who had already flipped. We'll go further into that shortly. However, what transpired next truly startled everyone. Vonnie's father responded completely differently to the prospect of his son returning home sooner rather than rejoicing. He began revealing details about his own son, making accusations against him, and posting secrets online. He asserted that VN had something to do with King Von's demise, and he even said that Durk was purportedly aware of it. People were shocked by the way he said everything since they didn't think a father would act in such a way. At this point, a tweet that said Vonnie's father was leaking information about Durk allegedly having Van dealt with went viral on social media, and many reacted angrily to it.
For the bond hearing for my son, for the release for the 3rd time. This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor. He wasn't pro-defense, but he was pro-justice. So he listened to all the evidence, and he's going to give a ruling in the next few days about what his position is for the bond. But we were very pleased at how it turned out. So continue, family, friends, and fans, continue to keep us in your prayers, and we thank you, and inshallah, God willing, this be victorious for that we have a good rule in our favor.
He ain't responding no back to me because this is on a tablet. He on a jail tablet when I sent that to him. He ain't responding nothing else to him. I told you he can't take my advice because they playing. They made themselves get caught. This is what come along with it. They wanted to get caught. You understand me?
So, that's what you meant by trenches paint. Okay.
What you mean trenches what?
Was it you that said that? With the whole narrative about Vonnie snitching with the text messages, like that's.
Yeah. I don't know who said that, but that was me.
But that was a focus. Everybody was trying to make it seem like that's what the text messages was about.
That's just saying what he finna cop out to, and this, that, and other. And with me saying Vaughn, some people like, man, what he gonna tell on some words online?
I ain't gonna lie, I said that in my video. I'm intrigued to know what the Vaughn name was for.
No, he ain't gonna tell him the Vaughn. You gonna tell it just like you orchestrated Lil you orchestrated this, and guess who you were?
Fans began to wonder why Durk usually hops on Instagram Live at the precise times when significant events occur in his immediate vicinity. They noted that he went live immediately following the announcement of King Von, Lil Pab, and FBG Duck, leading some viewers to believe that he utilizes those live sessions as a real-time alibi to demonstrate his whereabouts at those times. However, Vonnie's father persisted in pressuring allegations on the internet. Another tweet went viral, claiming that Vanny was responsible for the deaths of King Von and Lil Pab based on what his father had said. Nobody expected a father to level such serious accusations against their own kid, which led to constant arguments. And since V&I wasn't the only one, it didn't end there. Being discussed for collaborating, Ted, DD's younger brother, also found himself in the public eye. After learning about what was going on, rappers began saying things like, "Please tell me this isn't real." Everything began when fresh body camera footage surfaced, revealing Ted sounding prepared to provide information against Durk, and the entire case was upended by that clip. Following the release of the tape, Durk's attorneys promptly filed documents requesting additional time on the bond proposal, and people realized that this meant the courtroom strategy had simply changed once more.
Really? Dude had a. What about that? A man had a with an extended clip. That's cool though, right?
The fact that Ted is Dee Dee's younger brother was a major source of concern. And Dee Dee, who everyone referred to as Durk's major hitter, used to be one of his closest friends. Ted may therefore be well versed in behind-the-scenes information. And that's precisely why he was categorized as cooperative by detectives after he was discovered carrying a gun and an extended clip in his pocket at a nearby store. That's cool though, right? Was the officer's response in the video.
Come on.
Jesus,
Hey, stop it. Stop it.
I tell you about the money, I swear to God, I tell you about the money. Please protect my son, I tell you about everything. I swear to God, I tell you, I will tell you, please, I swear, please.
It's unrealistic to think that Durk's case may collapse over something unrelated to the initial accusations. Ted broke down in tears as soon as he was brought to the station and told the authorities he wanted to provide information. This moment quickly went viral on the internet.
You gotta relax for me, because I can't understand it. Relax. What's the number? 7 what you saying, man?
We're gonna see what we can do for you, alright?
We can see what we can do for you. You gotta relax for me.
Relax, man. I'm gonna get a bus in prison. Relax.
Give me No, I'm saying, what you talking about? I'm trying to get the...
Following his placement in a holding cell, Ted was questioned by an officer about what he was trying to say, leading some to believe that he was going to be used extensively by investigators. Durk's legal team is working non-stop to prevent him from being buried in this case, despite the fact that this appears to be a bad situation for him on the surface. According to a recent update, Durk's attorneys submitted a motion to have the charges dropped, claiming that the second indictment is too ambiguous to be used in court at all. Additionally, they are requesting a bill of specific laws if the judge does not dismiss it, which essentially means they want the prosecutors to provide a detailed breakdown of the case. They want to know what coded language the government is using, what bounty they say was promised, and the precise time, date, and location of the alleged incident. Durk's attorneys are requesting that the prosecution provide concrete evidence that Durk allegedly offered a reward associated with Wando Rondo because without such proof, none of it is credible. They are curious about the purported award, who received it, and when everything happened. Additionally, prosecutors haven't delivered the information that would ordinarily already be in the case file. For this reason, Durk's group believes the proof that the government initially claimed to have may not actually exist. However, Durk has also had a crazy time while incarcerated. After an officer allegedly discovered a cell phone inside his cell, he was abruptly placed in solitary confinement, raising a number of fresh concerns about who had access to what and how a phone got inside. In order to protect himself, Durk must be relocated following an altercation that occurred within the facility this morning, and word quickly got out. I don't care about anything else other than Durk right now, Lil Baby wrote on Twitter in response. Free the bro, demonstrating the frontman's growing sense of seriousness. But Durk isn't the only one. Fans believe that the entire circle is currently under attack. At about the same time, Durk was having internal issues. Glee, one of his longtime pals, tragically died in Chicago, and that made the situation even more tense. Online users also noticed anything odd. On the same day, participants were coping with, under all of this strain, Lil Tim and Wando Rondo appeared for interviews. While some viewers described it as a coincidence, others claimed it seemed like a diversionary tactic to keep the FBI from looking at them for anything related to Durk's case. Everyone is aware of their past, even if they were both attempting to sound composed while speaking. Durk is also a deep runner. Even when Quando talked in, like Lil Tim, he expressed his desire that things had turned out differently, but the timing caused some people to raise an eyebrow. Many fans found it unusual that two individuals who had previously disagreed with Durk were suddenly praising him in interviews on the day he was targeted in jail. This led to a whole new online discussion. Durk's recent attempts to obtain bail were turned down, particularly after he was placed in solitary. However, attorneys who monitor high-profile cases speculate that his legal team may use First Amendment rights to exclude a significant portion of the material that the prosecution is attempting to present. They claim that some of the words and songs that are being used against him may be removed entirely. Even more startling was another explanation offered for Durk's bond denial. According to officials, to be eligible for release, he would essentially have to give up his entire financial world. The whole scenario seemed much more dire because they said Durk would have to go bankrupt and give up all of his belongings before they would consider issuing a bond. Authorities fear that if Durk is freed, he would misuse his wealth and power, putting pressure on witnesses, which is why they are currently fighting Bond so fiercely. They even think he might have already done something similar to Jam, who has been referred to as a snitch on the internet. And ever since, that charge has continued to reverberate. When someone posted on the internet, "Has anyone heard from Jam?" after he snitched on Durk, it became even louder. Jam has reportedly been offline for several months. Since he was revealed on DJ Vlad's broadcast, people have observed that he has vanished. People are now attempting to link that disappearance to the concerns that the federal government frequently brings up in court. However, despite all of this commotion, Durk had some good news in a recent update when prosecutors submitted multiple pages of new evidence they wish to include. The trial is also postponed by that action. That may sound awful, but the delay allows his attorney more time to negotiate a house arrest or bond before the trial begins. This is important, so pay close attention before we wrap this up. If you want to stay tuned in while rocking this deep dive, make sure to hit the subscribe button and enable notifications so you never miss a drop of the culture's latest developments. The streets never sleep, and neither do we as we establish a family here. We're only getting started, and there will be many more stories that are even more bizarre, profound, and simply must see. Smash that like button, show this movie to all of your homeboys, and let us know what you think by leaving a comment. Here at Rap Uncovered, where the reality of the streets is revealed, we'll see you in the next one. Whoa. Whoa.